In this video, we'll explain and walk you through how to upgrade your existing version of Cloud Secure Backup with the most recent version available from the AWS Marketplace. The AWS Marketplace will always have the latest version of Cloud Secure Backup. You can simply search for Cloud on the AWS Marketplace to see the latest product listings. If you notice a new version, you can always upgrade to the latest version of the solution free of charge. The latest software version available is prominently displayed within each product edition listing on the AWS Marketplace. The first step of the upgrade process is to log into your existing installation of Cloud Secure Backup and ensure that none of the backup or restore jobs are currently running. You can check by selecting Backup from the menu and then clicking on the Backup tab. Once you confirm that nothing is running, you can exit the application by logging out by simply clicking on the exit located in the upper right-hand corner of the application screen. You'll then have to log into the AWS Management Console to perform some tasks in order to preserve your existing software configuration and setup. After you've logged into the Management Console, verify the region you're in is the same region that your Cloud Secure Backup instance exists. You can see your region or select a different region from the drop-down menu provided within the AWS Management Console. After you've verified the region, navigate to the EC2 dashboard using the left side menu and select Instances, whether from the left-hand menu or within the Resources section of the Management Console. Click on the Cloud Secure Backup instance, which will highlight the entry in blue. Then click on the Actions button. Navigate down and select the Instance State option from the drop-down menu and finally select Stop. After you click on Stop from the menu, your existing instance of Cloud Secure Backup will stop from running after a minute or two. Once the Management Console displays the instance state of the Cloud instance as stopped, you'll need to record a few pieces of information that will be used later, as well as detach the block device XVDF from the stopped instance. To do this, you'll need to expand the lower section of the Management Console to display the Description tab for the Cloud instance. You can either resize the description section manually, or simply click on the rightmost button within the lower window to increase its size. You'll then be able to see the majority of the information as shown here. Locate the subnet ID as shown on the right-hand side and make note of it. The subnet ID will be used later when we perform the software upgrade. Next, locate the block devices section on the right-hand side of the information shown within the dialog. Click on the block device labeled XVDF. The block device XVDF dialog box will display. Click on the EBS ID, which is underlined and will highlight in an orange font when you hover your mouse over it. Make note of the volume ID along with the subnet ID you recorded earlier, because you'll need both later when you upgrade the software and reattach the volume. Click on the Actions button and then click on Detach Volume from the drop-down menu. The Detach Volume dialog will display, asking if you're sure that you want to detach this volume. Click on the Yes Detach button. At this stage, you're now ready to perform the software upgrade. Open your browser and go to the AWS Marketplace. Click Sign In and then type in your AWS credentials when prompted. After you've signed into the AWS Marketplace, search for Cloud to display all of the product listings. Select the same product edition you have installed of either Basic, SMB, Enterprise, Bring Your Own License, or Free. Click the Continue to Subscribe button at the top of the listing. You can review the end user license agreement as well as pricing, and when ready, click the Accept Terms button. The subscription to the product will take a few minutes for AWS to process, and when prompted, click on the Continue to Configuration button. The fulfillment option, software version, and region will be displayed. Accept the defaults and click the Continue to Launch button. You'll be prompted to choose action. Select the Launch CloudFormation option from the drop-down menu. The Launch button will then appear for you to click on. Click on the Launch button to proceed to the next step. You'll be prompted to create a CloudFormation stack. accept all of the defaults and click on the Next button. You'll then need to give the stack a name. Type in Cloud Daddy with no spaces, since they're not allowed here. You'll then need to specify an IP address or IP range in CEDAR format, which defines who can RDP into the Cloud Daddy instance. You'll next have to select a key pair, and then enter the ref VPC ID that you had made note of earlier, and finally select the subnet ID that you had also made note of earlier. Click on the Next button on the bottom right of the screen. You'll then be presented with the Options screen, and you can simply accept the defaults here and click on the Next button on the bottom right of the screen. You'll be presented with a review screen where you can review the information, and when ready, check off the box for I acknowledge that AWS CloudFormation might create IAM resources. And finally, click on the Create button on the bottom right of the screen. If you do not check off the box or forget to check off the box, you'll get an error at the top center of the screen about a stack creation error requires capability IAM. Simply go back, check the box for I acknowledge that AWS CloudFormation might create IAM resources, and finally click on the Create button on the bottom right of the screen to clear the error. You'll then be taken to the CloudFormation Stacks page, where you can see the new stack creation in progress. The new stack should appear, but if it doesn't, hit the refresh button on the screen. This process not only creates the template, but also goes off and creates the Amazon EC2 instance, which will ultimately become your AWS Cloud Daddy secure backup server. After the status is changed to Create Complete, we can proceed to the next step. Click on Services in the upper left of the screen and then click on EC2. Within the Resources tab, then click on Running Instances and you'll be able to see your newly created and running instance of Cloud Daddy Secure Backup. You may have to wait for your instance to complete the initialization and display a status of running. You can expand the description dialog box to display more information on the screen. When the status displays the instance is running, we will need two pieces of information. First, we will need the public IP address, which is contained on the right-hand side of the description dialog of IPv4 public IP. Please copy it to the clipboard and also make a note of this IP address, since you'll be using it in the future to access the Cloud Daddy Secure Backup instance. We'll also be needing the instance ID, which is contained on the left side of the description dialog box. Please make a note of the instance ID. Open an additional tab on your browser and enter the IP address you copied to the clipboard, or enter the address manually. Enter https:// at the start of the IP address. Initially, you'll get a message that your connection is not private, but you can ignore it and click on Advanced and proceed to connecting to the IP address. Please be patient and wait about 30 seconds or so for the initial registration screen to display. Once it displays, you'll need the instance ID to be entered that you had recorded from the AWS Management Console earlier. You can switch browser tabs to the Management Console, copy it, and then switch tabs back and paste it in and check the box that you have read and accept the license agreement, and click the Next button. You'll then need to enter a username, email address, password, and verify the password. Please note that the username and password must match what was configured in your prior, older Cloud Daddy software installation. Click the Next button when done. You'll need to enter the volume ID for the Cloud Daddy data volume you had originally detached and wrote down from your existing Cloud Daddy installation. If you forgot to make a note of it, you can go back to the AWS Management Console, click on Volumes from the left side menu, and look up the volume ID for the Cloud Daddy data volume. After entering the Cloud Daddy data volume ID, click the Next button. On the next screen, you can supply an SSL certificate and password if required, which will stop the security message from happening when you access the Cloud Daddy instance in the future. If you don't have one, you can simply click the Next button. Finally, enter your contact information and click on the Finish button. Please be patient and wait a few minutes as the registration process completes. When done, you'll be presented with the Login dialog. Log in normally with the username and password you had configured. Congratulations, you've completed upgrading your Cloud Daddy Secure Backup instance to the latest version.